Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Know What to Watch, the podcast where two guys watch random movies and talk about them. With me, as always, is the impossible, the effervescent, the downright hairy, the Bigfoot to my Yeti, Kyle Mulford, and I'm Noah Saturn. How you doing, Kyle?
You're not supposed to know I exist.
You're not
I'm
supposed
not
to
really
know
here.
I exist.
Oh, man. Now everybody knows we exist. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. This is one of our mini episodes, sometimes maxi episodes, where we talk about what we've been watching. And I was on vacation, so I didn't watch anything. So, Kyle, what have you been watching?
Well, I watched enough movies for the both of us, so we'll just get into it here. First off, I watched we're recording this early enough that the Oscars have not happened, but we have seen the nominations. So I got a few nominees in here. Starting off with Elvis from 2022, streaming on HBO Max. This is a Baz Luhrmann pick, and I thought Austin Butler did a really good job as Elvis. Like, I think he's up for Best Actor, and he did a great job. The movie is a little misleading because I thought going in that it was going to be more about Elvis, and it was more about this Colonel guy. And I really don't know his story, but like he's someone who apparently manipulated the finances of Elvis and everything. And I've talked to other people that were the same way. It's like this should have been called Elvis and the Colonel, not just Elvis. But also, it was still good. But Tom Hanks played the Colonel, and to me, this might be one of Tom Hanks's not so great years because he was the Colonel in this, and his accent was all over the place. I didn't think he was real great in this. I did not like Tom Hanks in Pinocchio, and I was like, I felt really bad about not liking him in 2 movies this year.
Oh, he's fine. He still has 2 Oscars.
I know, but I always love his movies. I'm like, oh man, that's 2 movies you did in 1 year that I was not a fan of you. That's crazy. That never happens. But
at least we still have Mazes and Monsters.
Right. But yeah. And then the other slight issue I had was it's a Baz Luhrmann pick. So much like Moulin Rouge, like the first hour of the movie was so many cuts and little boxes and editing and fast, quick, cut, quick. And it's like, what is happening on screen right now? I don't know. Baz Luhrmann, slow it down. That's all I have to say for the next movie. Slow it down, Baz Luhrmann. And the irony is this one's up for best editing too, I think. And I do not like Baz Luhrmann's style of editing, who he gets to edit his movies.
I haven't seen this one, but I can definitely appreciate Baz Luhrmann's editing more. So I'll probably like it.
It's not a bad movie by any means. And like I said, Austin Butler did a really good job and was fun to watch. So I'd still recommend it. And it's streaming, so on HBO Max.
Yeah,
yeah.
All I've seen from this film is just the clip where people go, "He's white."
Yes, that's towards the beginning of the movie. Oh, all right. So then last episode, I talked about Basket Case. So I went on and watched Basket Case 2 on Tubi TV from 1990. And this is the further adventures of Dwayne and Belial. And it takes place like immediately after the first movie. And some lady and her granddaughter, at the end of the first movie, Dwayne and Belial fall out of a building and they're injured. And then they're in a hospital, and then this lady and her granddaughter break them out of the hospital and then take them to their house of freaks. So like there is a whole bunch of freaks in the attic, and Belial is kind of like just like a torso with arms and a mouth, or arms and a face, and he meets a female freak who's just kind of arms and a face, and basically you get at the end of the movie you get to see basically 2 torsos fucking. It's quite disturbing.
It sounds beautiful. It's just life, you know.
Right. This is the same actors in this, and it was also directed by Frank Henenlotter, who directed the first one. So this one got a little campier. The first one seemed a little more guerrilla filmmaking in New York. This one looked like it had a little bit more budget, but not much. But had more locations too, and whatever. But it was interesting. It was fun.
Nice.
And then on Netflix, the whole family watched the 2021 film The Loud House Movie, which I think is based off of some Nickelodeon cartoon.
It is based off of a cartoon about a boy and his like 50 sisters or something.
Yeah, it's 10 sisters and one brother, and it's the movie basically revolved around the boy, and they wanted to find out their heritage, and they learned they're from Scotland, so they go on vacation there, and then they find that their family like founded a town and they had a castle there and everything, and it was kind of a cute movie. I kind of enjoyed watching that with the family. And not something I'd watch on my own, but if you've got young kids, it's kind of a fun movie, and it's streaming on Netflix. So
yeah, I guess you think it would have made more sense if you would have watched the show, or does it make sense enough as its own?
it actually made the beginning of the movie. They kind of went through the whole how the family came together, how the husband and wife met, and it was kind of like a montage sequence. So I was like, I really didn't feel lost watching the movie without the show.
That's good.
Yeah. So and then on Netflix, another Oscar contender, I watched the 2022 film Blonde, and my notes just say yuck, but good for Anna de Armas for the Oscar nod.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of. I've no intentions of watching this one.
I heard so many bad things. I only watched it for her performance, and she does a really good job. But this movie's so icky, and just I don't even want to talk about it. It's just icky.
Okay,
that's my
then
word
we can
for it.
move on.
Yep. And then on Netflix, I watched the 2022 animated Oscar contender, The Sea Beast. This is about a girl who stows away on a hunter ship, and these hunters like find and hunt monsters for the king and queen to protect their land and whatever. And eventually, the little girl helps the one pirate, I think played by Carl Urban, discover that these monsters are actually friendly, and they've been killing them all this time because the king and queen said so, and that's what it was in the history books. So this, I'm going to tell you right now, I like this movie. It's good. It has a good message. They were not subtle at the end, because it's a little black girl going into the town and yelling to the whole town about how all the history books were lied to us and written by the old white people who ran the town.
Yeah, I've seen writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards.
Yeah, there was no subtext here. This was all just text right on the page.
That's fine too.
But you know what? I think my kids watched this with my wife before I watched it, and I think they enjoyed it. And like I said, the movie's not wrong in its message. It just was very blunt about it. But it was an enjoyable. I don't think this was an Oscar contender, but it was still an enjoyable movie and worth checking out.
Nice.
And then going back to Tubi TV from 1991, I watched Basket Case 3, The Progeny.
There was a third one?
Yeah, you remember how those two torsos were fucking at the end of the second one? Way back when I was talking about that.
So it's like Seed of Chucky.
Yeah. The female torso got pregnant, and so all the freaks get on a bus and they take a road trip to Georgia to some other person, some doctor guy that the lady and her granddaughter knew, and then her 12 babies are born and then kidnapped, and Belial does not like that, so there's a killing spree. So there's going
to be some 101 Dalmatian style hijinks.
Right. This one was also campy and weird and bizarre, and overall I was like, this is kind of a fun trilogy. It's so stupid and kind of obscene, but a little bit fun. Then on DVD I rented the 2022 film, not Oscar nominated, Ticket to Paradise.
Should have been, had Roberts and Clooney.
Caitlin Dever, I don't know. She graduates from law school, and then she goes on vacation to Bali, and while there she falls in love with a seaweed farmer and decides to get married and stay on the island. and her divorced, bitter parents, Julia Roberts and George Clooney, decide to go and sabotage the wedding because they're like, don't throw away your life and marry a seaweed farmer in an island. And they go, and hijinks ensue, and then the parents learn to love again and be accepting of their daughter and her choices, and it's actually kind of a cute movie.
But also, like, you went to law school. What are you going to do with all that debt?
Right. Maybe she'll just hide out on Bali and hide from the debt collectors.
I agree with this. Or maybe the seaweed farm business is really booming right now, and she can pay it all
Well,
off.
I think in there that they said that the guy was like, oh, no, we've got really good business right now. So like they ship it out to different countries and stuff. So I'm
Oh,
sure that
good
they
for them.
probably, so she might have been able to pay her debts, but it's a cute movie, pretty standard fare, but cute. Then I watched 2022, another Oscar nominated documentary called Navalny, streaming on HBO Max. And this is about Alexei Navalny, who was a political opponent of Putin, who was in 2020, he was poisoned. And he thinks that Putin was behind the poisoning. And he did some investigation, and they were filming the whole time they're investigating. And then they actually got they got a scientist on the phone who actually admitted to it and everything. And it's quite an interesting story. But then when you get to the end, and this Navalny guy is an interesting guy. I was like, I kind of like this guy. I kind of wish he would overtake Putin. And I shouldn't say this. The Russians are probably listening in right now.
They're our most loyal listeners.
Yes, all the Russian bots.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the movie, you find out that this was just in 2020, and he went back to Russia because he wants to stay in his homeland. And when he went back to Russia, he got arrested, and he's facing up to 20 years in a Russian prison. It's just like the power of Putin. He can poison someone, get away with it, and then throw the guy in prison.
Fun fact, and I will always share this. So Vladimir Putin is 5'7". That is all.
He's a little man with a lot of power.
But not a lot of hair.
No. Okay, then I moved on to another 2022 film that was not Oscar nominated. I watched M3gan.
Well, actually, this is a 2023 film.
Oh, was it? Was it?
Yeah, it came out in January.
Oh, okay. Then that said wrong on there. I wonder if there was like a limited release, because on IMDb it said it was a 2022 film. But you might be right. But anyway, yeah, this is or maybe I just copied it down wrong. But anyway, I watched M3gan. And I feel like this one took a little while to get started, but then the last half hour to 45 minutes was everything I wanted the whole movie to be.
Nice.
So if you think it looks like wacky, crazy fun, it is, but it takes a little while to get there. It's a girl gets in an accident with her parents, and her parents both die, and she has to stay with her aunt, who's a toy manufacturer, and she's creating this new life-like AI doll that's very human-like, and then the AI takes over and gets overprotective of the girl, and hilarity ensues.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I saw the trailers, I was like, that looks amazing, and the last half hour to 45 minutes was amazing. I think it was still worth it though, and it's still worth it to check it out, because the first half of the movie is not bad. It's just it took too long to get to where I wanted it to get to.
Oh, for sure.
So, but still worth it.
Didn't the screenwriter also come from another film that we liked?
I think from Malignant.
Right. Yes.
Which Malignant is 100% fun.
Yeah, that film is crazy. So we do get some of that craziness.
Yeah, there is some good craziness at the end. So
nice. So when it comes to like an AI companion child, would you rather prefer M3gan or Haley Joel from AI?
Fun fact: never seen AI.
Oh,
that's been on my to watch list for a long time, and I just haven't. I've just never had never sat and watched it.
There's a Chris Rock robot.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Then I watched on Prime, leading up to our next episode, I watched The Hunger Games from 2012. Dystopian future. There's 12 districts, and then like the main district or whatever, and President Snow wants to keep everyone under control. So they pick a boy and a girl in their teens from each district to fight to the death in an arena. And you're following.
So what you're saying, it's some sort of like battle?
That's kind of a royale.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's a little bit like that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a battle royale in there. And you follow Katniss and Peeta from District 12, and they're like the first ones from District 12 to win in a long time. And there's some shaky cam in there, but I think the rest of the movies were this one. I don't remember who this was directed by, but then the rest of the movies were directed by Francis Lawrence, and they kind of got rid of the shaky cam, which was good because some of the action was not fun to watch. But overall, I enjoy this movie.
But it does have Stanley Tucci.
It does have the Tooch.
I love this character. I love his character, Caesar Flickerman, so much.
There's a lot of, that's the thing I like about this one. It's one of those YA novels that was adapted because after Harry Potter, we had like Hunger Games, Divergent, The Maze Runner, all that stuff. And this is one of them that I one of the earlier ones, and I still enjoy this series.
Yep. Did you ever read the book?
No, but my kid actually interesting timing. My oldest kid just got done reading the whole trilogy. So that's why so I watched this one and then the sequel for our podcast, but also watched with our family because they had just read the trilogy. So
nice. I read the first one, and I specifically remember getting a little annoyed because every chapter ended on a cliffhanger, and I really wanted to go to bed, but then I just had to keep reading because you got to know what happens.
God dang cliffhangers! God dang Sylvester Stallone.
Exactly. I've also read the book Battle Royale and seen the Japanese film Battle Royale.
We did a podcast on that, didn't we?
We did, and they're very different. This one is much more about media and media representation, how you manipulate the media.
Oh yeah, it's very different. I know there's always a comparison, but yeah, there is a lot of comparisons, but it's also different enough that it is its own thing. Moving on, I rented a Blu-ray from 2022, a non-Oscar nominated Clerks 3.
Should have been.
Right. This is the old crew is back. I don't know. After watching this, I was like, I don't know if I ever actually got around to watching Clerks 2. But all of the old crew is back in this movie, and this movie is very meta. Dante and Randall, I think, are the two guys who run the Quick Stop or whatever, and Randall has a heart attack and realizes he hasn't really done much with his life, so he decides to make a movie about his working at a Quick Stop. Very, very meta, considering that's kind of what happened with Kevin Smith. He was, working at a store and was like, why don't we just film this? I thought it was pretty good. It was a Clerks movie. If you either like them or you don't. Like I said, a lot of meta wink at the camera, but I don't think it was done in a real bad way. I thought it was kind of done in a fun way, kind of poking fun at some of the stuff he's done before, because it was usually Kevin Smith as Silent Bob winking at the camera. Mm-hmm. And I didn't expect to almost shed a tear towards the end of the movie, but that was a thing. So I'd recommend this if you're a fan of Kevin Smith and you like the Clerks movies.
Yeah, I saw Clerks 1 and I thought, I can see why people like this. It's definitely like, I don't know. I was too young for it. It's all about the Gen X experience.
I am a Mallrats guy all the way. I've seen Mallrats. I don't even know how many times. So that's my Kevin Smith movie.
Nice.
Then back to Oscar nominees. I watched on Netflix the 2022 film All Quiet on the Western Front. This is about follows a German guy and his 3 or 4 friends who join the military to go off to war, and they're all, I'm going to go fight for my country. They're all excited about it and everything. And then they find out the war sucks and everybody dies because war sucks. And so...
Yeah, and this is a World War I, correct?
Yes. And so the end. War sucks, everybody dies. The end.
Nice.
This was up for cinematography, and it's well-deserved. This was a very pretty movie. Very well shot. It was good. It wasn't anything memorable. Like, it wasn't my favorite war movie ever. Nothing that really stood out to me other than that it was very well shot. But it was a good movie. That's about all I can say about it. So I'll move on to my Blu-ray collection, 1963's New Tale of Zatoichi. Continuing on. Zatoichi goes back to his hometown. He runs into his old master, stays with him, eventually proposes to his master's sister. Someone's after him, trying to kill him. It was a brother of someone he killed in the previous movie. and Yakuza and Ronin and samurai stuff ensues, and just another Zatoichi film. These are all just kind of solid films.
I'm going to assume that at some point he is going to run into a rat and 4 turtles.
Yes.
And maybe
But
Usagi Yojimbo.
yeah. And then he will change his name to Shredder.
I knew it.
No, pretty solid movie. I'm digging this series so far. There's not much to say about each movie though, because it's just another story following Zatoichi going into a town and people are trying to kill him, and so he kills them first. So, but then on Netflix, this was a rewatch of 2016, The Nice Guys. Love this movie. Seen it many times. Probably already talked about it on this show, so I don't need to say it again. Awesome movie. Go watch it. Then on Disney Plus, I watched another 2022 nominated documentary, Fire of Love.
This is What About Volcanoes, which has like
yes.
a 70s funk name.
Yes, it's because it's a love story of 2 volcanologists. My
They
notes
study
were
the Vulcan people.
yes. My notes were just basically love story of 2 volcanologists, cool volcano footage, narrator put me to sleep. That's it. The end. Apparently these were very famous. Like if you study volcanoes, you know the names of these people. They both loved volcanoes. They met each other and they went around the world studying stuff. They've written books and all this stuff, but like this was more about their bond and their how they fell in love and all this stuff. And then it was interspersed with a lot of footage of them up until the footage of the volcano that killed them. But there's a lot of really great footage of the volcanoes, but whoever was narrating this, just their voice droned me to sleep a couple of times. I was like, what?
See, now I'm just trying to think of like Paul F. Tompkins, Werner Herzog.
Yeah, that would be great. I want one of them narrating instead. I don't know. I wasn't really into this one, but if you're really into volcanoes, I'd watch it. But other than that, I don't know. It was I didn't care for it. And then on Tubi TV, I watched a 1994 film called In the Mouth of Madness. This is a John Carpenter flick. A lot of H.P. Lovecraft vibe to it. Sam Neill plays an insurance investigator. He's hired to track down Sutter Kane, who's gone missing, and he's an author of a series of books. And while searching for Sutter Kane, he ends up in a town called Hobbs End or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the town was. I think it was Hobbs End. And it's the actual town from Sutter Kane's book. And then you find these demons are like possessing Sutter Kane into writing the novels. So like, and then reality gets twisted and gets really bizarre. And this is kind of a cool movie. And I've heard a lot of people say this is one of the best H.P. Lovecraft movies that's not actually H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, but it's not a real H.P. Lovecraft movie unless it has Jeffrey Combs in it.
Right. I think I saw this back when it came out in 1994, and I didn't really care for it. I watched it, and I was like, well, I'm going to check this out again. And man, I really dug it this time around. I really liked this movie. So this is a high recommend. It's streaming on Tubi.
Nice.
Then just a couple more movies. I watched on DVD. I rented The Big Red One. But this is a movie from 1980, but I think the version that I got was 45 minutes longer, and it was released in 2005, like 7 years after the director's death, called The Big Red One Reconstruction. This is a 1980 war movie directed and written by Samuel Fuller, who you might remember we did an episode on Steel Helmet, and I think we both really liked that one.
Yes, that was great.
This one follows an infantry of American soldiers. I think the Big Red One is actually a unit that was in World War I, and I think Samuel Fuller might have been part of the Big Red One. But this is like the beginning of the movie says a fictional telling of a factual death or something like that. So
okay. I
think he kind of, with his war movies, he took experiences that he had in war and put them into his war movies. So this follows them, this infantry through several battles in World War II. You see a lot of the big battles, even storming the beach in Normandy, they were there. and it goes all the way through to the end of the war, when the war ended, and they're celebrating that it's over. And this had a lot to say about wars and about the soldiers, and really about the soldiers themselves, because there was also this counterpart general on the sergeant on the other side, on the German side, that you kind of like you see was in a lot of the same battles. And it was a very interesting movie. Lee Marvin played the sergeant, and a bunch of people I don't know in the infantry, except for a young Mark Hamill, because this was 1980, so this was Empire Strikes Back time.
Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to him.
I don't know. I don't think he really did anything.
Oh, okay.
He didn't do all the acting. He just wait, he was in The Guyver. That's right.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in The Guyver.
His most well-known movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's right above Corvette Summer, right?
Of course. Or it's below Corvette Summer. I actually watched Corvette Summer. It wasn't bad.
I've actually seen The Guyver, but not Corvette Summer. Because that says a lot about my taste in movies, right? No, I would recommend The Big Red One. And I actually, after seeing Steel Helmet, which I watched a couple of times when we did it for our podcast, and then watching this one, I want to seek out more Samuel Fuller movies, actually. So if that says anything about how much I recommend it.
Yeah, I'd recommend his work. I believe was The Crimson Kimono was another one of his films.
Okay. I might have to seek that out. I do want to see more of his stuff.
It's a real thing.
While you're looking that up, I'll go on to Disney Plus. I finally am starting to catch up on some Marvel movies again, and watched Eternals from 2021. That's how far behind I am. These are more super-powered beings in the MCU, and we find out they're pawns of the Celestials. I think this one went on a little too long. I think it was the movie was a little too long, but I liked the characters it introduced, and I didn't love the movie, but I liked it, and I liked the characters enough to see them come back into the MCU. But I don't know if this did well enough that they will come back.
Yeah, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, so
great cast though.
Yeah, it was a very good cast, and there was a lot I liked about it. I would recommend it if you like Marvel movies and superhero movies.
Saw this one when it came out. I'm sure I talked about it here. I really enjoyed it.
And then on back to the Blu-ray, I went back to 1963 for Zatoichi the Fugitive.
Oh. Was his wife killed by the one-armed man?
No, one-armed man was in the second movie.
Oh, okay.
Literally, there was a one-armed man in the second movie.
Oh, nice.
Played by his real-life brother. I think I talked about it.
So does Harrison Ford show up in this movie?
Yeah. He was very, very young. It was 1963.
Yeah, true.
My notes for this is Zatoichi gets caught up in more Yakuza affairs and swordplay ensues. And there's a big battle at the end. The thing I like about this is I'm 4 movies in now, and they bring characters back. Like this one had a woman in there that was in one of the earlier movies that had fallen in love with him before, and now she's with another guy or whatever. And so he runs into people from previous movies. So there is some continuity in these movies. So I'm 4 movies in, and I'm still digging this series. Solid.
What do you got? Like 21 to go?
Yes. And what I was looking at is the set is 25 movies, but then the same actor who played Zatoichi in all those, I think that I saw that he did one more several years later that I don't think is on the set. So I wonder if they kind of rebooted it but used the same actor, or they just was a different studio or something.
Yeah, it might be a rights thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, on my set, I've got 21 movies left on my set.
Okay. See, the biggest set I own as far as Criterion is their Godzilla set.
And that's what, is that like 30 or 40 movies?
Well, they only have like the first 15 or 16, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more than that for some reason.
Because, yeah, there's multiple eras of Godzilla film. This one covers the first era.
I think the Zatoichi is my biggest DVD or my biggest Blu-ray set, but I also have the Bond 50 set that did not come with Skyfall, and I don't remember if Quantum of Solace was the 24th or 25th movie. So it might be a similar size set.
Oh, okay.
And then finally, I watched another Marvel movie from 2021, and this one I own the Blu-ray of because it's one of the Sony ones that aren't streaming anywhere. Spider-Man: No Way Home. Did you see this one?
Yep, I saw it in theaters.
Awesome. Uh, my
All the
notes are
Spider-Man, all you could eat.
my, my my notes are Spider-Man messes up the multiverse. I really liked this movie. The only thing that bothered me was I know he's supposed to be impulsive because he's a teenager, but some of the choices he makes in this movie, although well intentioned, I'm going, you do realize that you're messing with big magic when you go to Doctor Strange, right? And then you're just sitting there like jabbering at him while he's trying to do a spell, and that screws up the whole multiverse.
It was pretty funny though.
It was, and I do have to say I loved seeing all the spoilers here because I'm way behind everyone else on these Marvel movies. I loved seeing all the enemies from the other movies. I wish the other Spider-Men would have came in earlier because, oh my God, the scenes with all three Spider-Men talking to each other were some of the best scenes from a 2021 movie, I think. I loved their banter back and forth.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
And all the little things that they like pointed and poked fun of, and like from the previous movies. I loved Andrew Garfield when they're talking about like, I went to space and fought aliens, and well, because Tobey Maguire's like, I fought an alien, and Tom Holland's like, I went to space and fought aliens, and Andrew Garfield's like, boy, I'm really lame. I fought a guy in a rhino in a mechanized rhino suit. I don't know, like, just this movie is worth just getting to the three Spider-Man stuff alone. The only thing I know they're working on another Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man 4 movie. I think they're working on a script right now. The only thing I didn't like was the ending, but it's because I was like so sad about the way it ended. I was like, I don't want it to end that way. That no, but I was like, dang it. But overall, I really love this movie. I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy is a real winner. I love his Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, and there's one thing you must always remember when it comes to Peter Parker is that Peter Parker can never be happy.
Right. I know, and he's pretty miserable at the end of this movie.
See, so it's perfect.
Oh, but that made me sad. But no, that was a good movie to end on, because that's what I have been watching.
Okay, as we mentioned, I haven't been watching anything. So, Kyle, what do you think you're going to watch next?
I know this won't come out until like months after the Oscars, but I am hoping to watch a few more Oscar contenders before they come on.
Yeah, ideally, if I can get lucky, I like to watch the animated shorts. Those are always fun because can be really different. And, the most of them, they're like 7 minutes long, so you can watch them all in like an hour and a half.
Well, one of the animated shorts this year has one of my favorite animated short movie titles ever, My Year of Dicks.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's like it sounds pretty interesting to me, actually.
I don't even know what it's about. I just love the title.
It's about a woman who's like, she's talking about the year when she tried to lose her virginity. So,
oh, nice. So yeah, the one that I really want to get in is The Fabelmans.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several that I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen Tar. I haven't seen some of the less popular Best Picture nominees. But and I haven't seen Puss in Boots: Last Wish. That's that and one other animated I haven't seen. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Those two I really want to see.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see all the animated ones this year too, because sometimes especially the non-Disney Pixar animated films are really good.
I want, like, unless I think Marcel or Puss in Boots is better, which I don't know if it could possibly be. I really want Pinocchio to win.
Me too.
I really loved Pinocchio. Not
the
Tom Hanks one. I've already.
What about the Pauly Shore one?
I refuse to watch that. So we had two major Pinocchio movies this year. One with Tom Hanks, which you would think, whoa, that'd be great because it's got Tom Hanks in it. Did not like that one. And then we had Guillermo del Toro redeem us by giving us his stop motion one.
Yes, it was gorgeous. I could talk about that film all day.
Right. So, what are you going to be watching?
I'll try and catch up on the Oscar nominees or just watch. Maybe I want to watch M3 again. So hopefully that.
Awesome. All right. Well, for now though, you can catch us online. I'm on Twitter at AwesomeKM.
And I'm on Twitter at Noah_Saturn. That is spelled SATERN.
And we're on Instagram at We Don't Know What to Watch. And you can email us, we don't know what to watch at gmail.com. And until next time, keep watching.
Keep watching. My year of dicks.